The Chiefs had a real chance to beef up their offense this week, and they didn't waste it. They signed a veteran to add some much-needed depth to the offensive line. We'll break down that move, check in on some key players ruled out for the next game, and look at the upcoming match against Panthers with an in-depth preview and prediction. Stay with me. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. Before moving further, let me share an update on a story that looks like a Hollywood heist movie. Both Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce had their homes broken into by burglars within 24 hours of each other. This all went down when the Chiefs were playing the Saints on Monday Night Football. Mahomes' home was reportedly broken into late on October 6th, with police being notified just after midnight. Then, on October 7th, while the Chiefs were kicking off at Arrowhead, Kelce's home was hit around 7:33 p.m. And what's even more crazy is these weren't just random break-ins. Kelce lost $20,000 in cash, and his back door was completely wrecked. Authorities are saying this is part of a coordinated string of high-profile burglaries targeting professional athletes across the country. According to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, the FBI believes a South American crime syndicate is behind these attacks. Yeah, this sounds like something from a movie, but it's real. They're calling it a transnational operation, and these criminals reportedly do extensive surveillance on their targets. Mahomes and Kelce aren't alone. Cowboys defensive tackle Linval Joseph was also hit, along with NBA stars like Mike Conley and Bobby Portis. There's probably more that hasn't even been made public yet. The NFL has already issued a security alert to teams, warning players to stay cautious. What's even scarier is how calculated these criminals are. Reports say they never hit a home when someone's there. For athletes, it's easy to figure out when they'll be gone. Just check their game schedules. It's a developing story that just keeps getting crazier. If these guys ever get caught, you know I'll keep you updated. Now, let's talk about the Panthers' season so far as the 9-1 Chiefs head to Carolina to face the 3-7 Panthers in upcoming match in Week 12. Carolina has had a rough ride this season. They started the year getting blown out by the Saints and Chargers, but they finally got a win in Week 3, beating the Raiders 36-22. That win came after their rookie quarterback Bryce Young got benched for veteran Andy Dalton. Dalton got the job done in that game but struggled afterward, losing 4 of the next 5 games he started. Eventually, Bryce Young returned as the starter, and to his credit, he's been showing some improvement. Over his last 3 starts, he's gone 2-1. Sure, there was a 28-14 loss to the Broncos, but then he led the team to a 1-point win over the Saints and an overtime victory against the Giants. That Giants game? Honestly, it was a mess. The Panthers barely escaped with a win after a fluke fumble in overtime. Still, credit where it's due, they've won back-to-back games for the first time since 2021. Now they're coming off a bye week, which means they'll be rested and ready for this game. Bryce Young is set to start again, looking to keep that momentum going. But let's be real about those wins. They squeaked past a struggling 4-7 Saints team and needed a fluke to beat the 2-8 Giants. Even so, this is the NFL, and you can't take any team lightly. For the Panthers, beating the defending Super Bowl champs would be a huge morale boost. Adding to that, the Panthers are rested while the Chiefs are coming off a hard-fought loss in Buffalo and hitting the road again. Kansas City can't afford to take this one lightly. Now let's get into why the Chiefs haven't been blowing teams out. A lot of folks think Andy Reid is holding plays back, and maybe there's some truth to that. But in my opinion, the bigger issue is turnover differential. The turnover differential is pretty simple. It's the total number of takeaways minus the total number of giveaways. And here's the problem. The Chiefs are turning the ball over too much. Mahomes is tied for the league lead with 11 interceptions, and the defense isn't creating enough turnovers to balance it out. Despite this, Kansas City is still winning. They're one of just 2 teams with a negative turnover differential that has a winning record. Both the Chiefs and Panthers are sitting at -5 in turnover differential. But the difference? The Panthers have won just 30% of their games, while the Chiefs have won 90%. That's a huge gap. Let's dive deeper into this turnover issue. When you look at teams thriving in the takeaway department this season, like the Steelers, Bills, Vikings, and Texans, they all have 20 or more takeaways. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are stuck at just 9. And on offense, teams like the Commanders, Chargers, Bills, Bears, Steelers, and Ravens have managed fewer than 10 giveaways. That's the formula for dominance. Protect the ball and create turnovers. Take the Lions as an example. They're blowing teams out left and right, and it's no coincidence. They've only turned the ball over 10 times this season. Half of those came in a single game against the Texans, a game they still managed to win. On top of that, their defense has 19 takeaways. That's why they're dominating while Kansas City isn't. The Chiefs are also lacking explosive plays, those highlight reel moments that can flip a game in seconds. Here's my suggested game plan. Mahomes needs to keep the ball clean and the defense has to force at least one fumble and grab an interception. No turnovers and maybe even steal a couple of possessions from the Panthers. That's how you run away with this one. Carolina's offensive line has been surprisingly solid, allowing just 18 sacks all year, one of the best marks in the league. On the other hand, the Chiefs' defense has only managed 19 sacks, which puts them near the bottom in the NFL. This is where Kansas City really misses Charles Omenihu. His return, likely in the next week or two, could be a huge boost, especially with back-to-back AFC West games coming up. But even without him, the Chiefs need to find a way to pressure Bryce Young and force him into mistakes. Carolina might get veteran wideout Adam Thielen back for this game. He hasn't played since September due to a hamstring injury, but has been a limited participant in practice. If he doesn't suit up, Bryce Young will have to rely on rookies like Xavier Legette and tight end Jatavian Sanders. That's not exactly an ideal situation for a rookie QB. Here's the good news for Chiefs fans. Kansas City's defense is elite against the run, ranking 3rd in the NFL. That's a key advantage in this matchup, and one of the reasons I'm expecting a big bounce-back performance from the defense. Let's be honest, this isn't the Bills' offense led by Josh Allen. The Panthers are a team you have to take seriously, but they don't have the firepower to threaten the Chiefs if Kansas City executes well. On the other side of the ball, the Panthers' defense has its own issues. They're allowing the most points per game in the league, 31, and ranked dead last on third downs. They're 27th in red zone defense, give up the most rushing yards per game, and rank 24th in passing yards allowed. Their pass rush is also struggling despite having players like Jadeveon Clowney and Ashawn Robinson. Carolina has only managed 12 sacks all year, the second fewest in the NFL. On top of that, they're giving up an average of 60 yards per game to tight ends. This matchup is tailor-made for Travis Kelce to have a big game. This game feels like a mismatch on both sides of the ball. I'm predicting a dominant Chiefs win, something like 34-10. Most analysts are also picking Kansas City, and the formula for victory is simple. Play a clean game, get the tight ends involved, and exploit Carolina's weaknesses. If Kelce gets double-teamed, there are still plenty of options. Noah Gray can step up, DeAndre Hopkins is integrating more into the offense, and Juju Smith-Schuster is a reliable safety net for Mahomes. This is where the singing of DJ Humphries becomes crucial. The Chiefs needed depth on the offensive line, especially at tackle, and Humphries checked all the boxes. He's a versatile, proven starter with 98 career starts and a Pro Bowl appearance in 2021. According to Ian Rappaport, Humphries is fully healthy and ready to contribute. This signing couldn't have come at a better time. Even if Humphries doesn't start right away, he's a solid insurance policy if Wanya Morris goes down. And who knows? As the weeks go by, Humphries might even challenge Morris for the starting spot. This is a one-year contract worth $2 million, with a maximum value of $4.5 million if he hits certain incentives. That's significant money this late in the season, but the Chiefs found a way to make it work despite their tight cap situation. Credit goes to Brett Veach and the front office for pulling this off. Interestingly, Matt Derrick from Chiefs Digest mentioned that the team had been monitoring Humphries for about a month, waiting for him to be cleared medically. They held an open spot on the 53-man roster, and instead of using it for players like Isiah Pacheco or Charles Omenihu, they filled it with Humphries. It's clear the Chiefs had been planning this move for a while. Before we wrap up, let's quickly go over the injury report. For the Chiefs, 2 key players are ruled out, Isiah Pacheco and Charles Omenihu. Both are in their second week back within their return windows, but haven't been activated to the roster yet. They were limited participants in practice, so we'll likely see them return next week when Kansas City faces the Raiders on Black Friday. Okay, guys, now it's on you. What do you think about the Chiefs signing DJ Humphries? Was it the right move at this point in the season? And which player do you think will have the biggest impact in this game? Kelce, Mahomes, or someone unexpected?